Live.
This is Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome you to our Commissioners Board meeting for October the 1st. If you have comments, first of all, specific to the agenda, please post those now, and we need your first and last name as well as the municipality where you reside. If you want to make comments at the end of the meeting, again, you can post those, and they can be posted either in Microsoft Q&A or in the comments section of YouTube and Facebook Live. So thank you for joining us. As always, we're going to begin with a moment of silence, followed by a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, Mary Jo, is Dr. Looney on yet?
I don't see her. I just spoke with her assistant, okay, and she was calling in, so I don't see her.
What we'll do, we'll watch for her. When she calls in, I'll look for an opportune time to have her address the group. With that, I'm going to turn to Brian Gottschall for the COVID-19 data update. Brian is the director of the Berks County Department of Emergency Services, and he also is the leader of the Berks County COVID-19 leadership team. Welcome, Brian Gottschall.
Good morning, Commissioner. Sorry about that. Caught me a little off guard with the change in the agenda. Just give me one moment,
Sorry
please.
About that.
No problem. Okay, hopefully my screen is up.
It is.
Okay, thank you. So again, we're going to walk through a couple key data points that we've looked at in prior weeks, as well as look at one new slide that I hope to incorporate moving forward. Just a reminder for everybody that we're working off of DOH dashboard data that is current as of last Friday, local hospital data current as of last Friday, and then our data presentation or charts basically that are current as of yesterday. So this is the early warning dashboard. All of the indicators, this is actually a mirror image of the early warning dashboard last week when all of the top indicators were upward arrows and the last one was a downward arrow. So we turned everything around 180 degrees. Of course, we want to see everything downward, but I think that the summary of this slide is that our data on the early warning dashboard looks pretty good. Even our upward arrow with respect to the percent of hospital emergency department visits is again fractions of a percentage. I mean, reasonably small numbers in what we're talking about here that we would expect to fluctuate somewhat up, somewhat down on a week-by-week basis, and nothing to be terribly alarmed about. Again, we like to show the case count, which is the blue line at the bottom, as well as our testing numbers, which is the orange line at the top, in a spot graph. This is showing the daily up and down fluctuations, just to let people see the real data so there's no concern about what we're doing when we smooth it. But making it much easier to look at, we show it in a smooth fashion, in essence, a rolling 7-day average of those numbers. We see that our case count is remaining relatively stable, although higher than we would like to see it be. We want that bottom blue line to be underneath our green goal number of 210 cases over a smooth 7-day period. We are significantly above that. And we want our testing to be as high as we can possibly get it, but remaining above our green 1960 per 7-day smooth goal. Looking at our positivity percentage, again, this is an important number because, of course, when we do more testing, we're going to see more positives. If we do less testing, we're going to see less positives. But the percentage of that testing that is a positive test is a good indicator for us. We saw a really significant spike in the last week and a half, as you can see on the chart there, up over 12%. That was very much driven by both a single day over 22% and then a number of consecutive days well into double digits, although not nearly that high. Those numbers have more quote unquote normalized, and of course none of this is normal, but I guess normal for what we've been dealing with in the ensuing week and a half. So we've seen our positivity come back down to where we've been accustomed to seeing it in the high single digits, still higher than we would like it to be. Last week, we began introducing a look at what our local hospitals are experiencing. My intent is to show this on a kind of a 2-week slide every week so we can see where we were at last week. And I apologize, I say last week, but in reality, because this data is updated on Friday, it's really where we were at 2 weeks ago and where we were at last week, because we really don't know where we're at this week until tomorrow when the new data is made available. So this does show a 2 week ago and a last week number. We do see some declines. Again, the numbers even 2 weeks ago weren't alarmingly high, but they were higher than we want them. We have seen those numbers come down as of last week. And then the new slide that we want to take a look at that, again, I'm going to try to show on a weekly basis is kind of a comparison of where we are in comparison to other counties in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And this is important because we would expect that as things happen for us, they would happen for other counties. And there are, of course, differences in Berks County. We have a very dense urban core. We know that due to socioeconomic drivers, a lot of people, particularly in that dense urban core, don't have equal access to healthcare and other types of services like that, something that we're always trying to work on and fix, irrespective of COVID. But those kind of things, of course, drive our numbers. I don't think you can directly compare Berks County to Potter County. You can compare Berks County to Lancaster County and Lehigh County and some Luzerne County, some of the other counties in the state that are similar to us in population and demographics. So one of the things that we want to illustrate here is at the bottom there that Berks County is the 9th county in the Commonwealth in terms of population. So when we compare what's going on in Berks County, we want to be at the top of the list of good things and at the bottom of the list of bad things. But the reality is we would think that we should be somewhere around the 9th in any comparative estimation of counties across the Commonwealth. And what we see here, I used a benchmark of May 15th as an example of kind of where we are back in the beginning, if you will, of this whole thing, compared to where we were a week ago on Wednesday, compared to where we were yesterday. And what you can see when you look at these per capita columns that I've circled in red is that our testing per capita has gone down significantly. Now, some of that has to do with the mere size of the county. In actuality, the #1 county in the Commonwealth per testing per capita is Montour County, which is actually the smallest county in the Commonwealth per capita. And there are many other small counties that are in the top 10. You know, simply if you have a very small population, it's much easier to get that population tested. But it is worthy of note that there are some very similar counties to Berks that are doing better with respect to their testing capacity. And we want to change that number. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. When we look at the order by cases per capita, we see that we're remaining fairly consistent to where we were back in March, back in May, but we have taken a step up there that we don't want to take up. We would want to get down to about 9th in the Commonwealth in our case count to say that we're statistically where we ought to be based on the number of people in the county. And on deaths per capita, we are, again, somewhat holding our own. We've actually gotten better than where we were back in May, but we're running around that kind of 9th order in the Commonwealth, which is, we're talking about people's lives. We're talking about people being ill. And of course, none of this is good, but to the extent any of it could be good, that is a reasonably reassuring number that indicates that our folks that are going to be savable, are getting access to healthcare, and that our healthcare community is doing a good job in treating people, even those that become ill, and that we're not seeing a disparate number of deaths here in Berks County. So I want to go back to that ordered by test administered per capita thing. Seeing that number be significantly lower than where we like it to be is indicative of maybe that we could do some things to get testing more available in our community. And I just wanted to mention to the public that the commissioners are looking at this, they are aware of this, and there are some processes underway that we hope is going to make that testing more available, that I think we're going to be more prepared to talk about probably even before the next commissioners meeting through our public information officer, Steph Weaver, and the regular efforts that we make to get information out to the public through social media and other means. So with that, Commissioner, I'll turn it back over to you unless there are any questions.
Thank you very much, Brian. We appreciate your work and sharing the data on COVID-19 with the public. We now do have Dr. Susan Looney from the Reading Area Community College with us. I believe she is available via phone. Dr. Looney, welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Lambach, and thank you to all the commissioners for inviting me to give a brief update on these unprecedented times and how we are doing at Reading Area Community College. I am proud to share that RAC continues to stay mission-focused as we serve students under our 4 hallmarks of access, opportunity, excellence, and hope. Under access, our students, faculty, and administrators rose to the challenge created from COVID-19 restrictions by very quickly developing virtual classrooms and services. Whether creating engaging virtual graduations and health profession pinning ceremonies, or fortifying student services such as tutoring and advising, faculty and staff mobilized with the common goal of supporting and celebrating our students. This fall, our key strategy was to provide students with modality choices. They could come to campus or they could do it virtually. They had the choice. And this was to ensure students could start or continue their education where they felt most comfortable during this pandemic. This semester, about 30% of our courses are on campus with limited class sizes, and during the summer, our health professions and manufacturing labs began face-to-face delivery when the state moved to the yellow phase. Getting our Schmidt Training and Technology Center reopened was critical, as over 250 industry partners count on RAC to provide customized advanced manufacturing training. Student success and student access to the Schmidt Training Technology Labs and training material took innovation and collaboration by our industry partners, and it helped students earn their industry credentials so they could be prepared for the workforce. Even during days of the red phase, the Schmidt Training Center did not close completely. Instead, instructors and staff made PPE face shields for frontline workers as partners in the Berks PPE Resource Network. RAC was happy to be part of this community, education, and industry collaboration, and thanks our industry partners for their resources in helping us create nearly 8,000 face shields. For opportunity, within RAC's new strategic plan, we have defined 4 key priorities to support student success. In this early spring, RAC applied for a Title V Hispanic Serving Institution federal grant. As the first Hispanic serving institution in Pennsylvania, RAC had the opportunity to support the college's strategic plan to increase student success. Happy to announce that we received notification of our award in early September and are getting to work on enhancing our admissions and advising processes, as well as redesigning a curriculum to increase student access, retention, and graduation. Every person at this college will play a role in our Title V initiative to transform our college to better serve all students. As for excellence, despite the current challenges, faculty and staff continue to rise and represent the leaders in their field. Faculty member Denise Strohmeyer was named Distinguished Faculty by the American Association of Community Colleges. 15 RAC faculty and staff were recognized at the 2019 League for Innovation Excellence Awards for their dedication to student success, innovation, and commitment to our college and our community. Our respiratory care program once again received the prestigious Credentialing Success Award from the Commission on Accreditation for Respiratory Care. So there are lots of good things happening at RAC, and the team keeps on innovating and will continue to keep innovating, whether it's for our healthcare profession programs to our workforce development. They're finding ways to transform courses to meet students where they are and to meet the needs of their community. As for hope, you know, our students come to us because RAC symbolizes above all else hope. Hope for a future they want, certainly above obstacles that they have to achieve. This year, the RAC Foundation gave students over $700,000 in scholarships, and this makes a huge difference for those students to continue on the path of graduation and ultimately earn self-sustaining wages and have good paying jobs. We remain above all else committed to our deep and mutual respected friends and partners in Berks County. We look forward to celebrating RAC's 50th anniversary this year, and the planning on that has already begun. In conclusion, RAC remains strong. These challenges have made us stronger and more agile to meet the needs of the community and businesses. Our Schmidt Training Center continues to be the standard bearer for advanced manufacturer training. Our healthcare professions continue to provide highly qualified nurses, medical laboratory technicians, and respiratory care therapists. With millions of people unemployed, our workforce training continues to put people back to work as medical assistants, pharmacy technicians, industrial maintenance mechanics. As the community college in Berks County, RAC training and academic programs are a bridge to family sustaining wages and to affordable transfer programs. As always, this community looks to RAC to together help find solutions. And as the president of this community college, I believe in the RAC team who work quickly and collaboratively across the institution to find solutions and support student success. As I always say, I am #RAC proud. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have, commissioners.
Thank you very much, Dr. Looney. We appreciate your presentation. Any questions from my colleagues or comments?
I don't have any questions. I just want to thank Dr. Looney for the information presented. It's always good to hear what RAC is doing, and RAC plays such an important part in the education and the workforce development here in Berks County. So Dr. Looney, thank you for all that you and your staff are doing at RAC.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much. We will continue with our agenda. I do want to note.
Thank you so much for your support.
Oh, you're very welcome. And thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you, Commissioner.
I do want to note that we had an executive session on September the 28th dealing with litigation and security. Are there any additions or corrections for the September 24th Commissioner meeting minutes and the September 29th operation meeting minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Is there any public comment on specific agenda items?
I do not believe there is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Under the agenda, item 1, authorizing, under that, Budget Department, adopt a resolution authorizing 2020 budget transfers in the amount of $15,206 and 2020 appropriations in the amount of $1,488,630 per listing dated September the 28th of 2020. We have 2 items listed under Human Resources. Item 1, authorize the transfer of Ann Norton from Voter Registrar 2 temp to Elections Administrative Assistant temp in Election Services Department. Item 2, authorize a salary adjustment for Kristen Ketch, Executive Assistant, Court Administration. There are a number of items listed under the Commissioners. Adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of David M. Bentz, Reading, PA, to the Berks County Local Emergency Planning Committee. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Ignacio Sabella, Blandon, PA, to the Berks County Local Emergency Planning Committee. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Matthew G. Eisenhower, Reading, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Local Emergency Planning Committee. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Richard A. Ternelli, Reading, PA, to the Berks County Local Emergency Planning Committee. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Tyler Lister, Laureldale, PA, to the Berks County Local Emergency Planning Committee. Item F, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Michael Rivera, Reading, PA, to the Berks County Blighted Property Review Committee for a 2-year term ending December 31st of 2022. Commissioner Rivera is replacing Commissioner Barnhart effective October 1st. Item G, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Denise Cummings, West Reading, PA, to the Berks County Blighted Property Review Committee for a 2-year term expiring December 31st of 2022. Item H, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Eileen Castora, Reading, Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Blighted Property Review Committee for a 2-year term expiring December 31st of 2022. Item I, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Lee Olson, Reading, PA, to the Berks County Blighted Property Review Committee for a 2-year term expiring on December 31st of 2022. Item J, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of the Area Agency on Aging Area Plan for 2020 through 2024 to the Pennsylvania Department of Aging. The plan contains goals, objectives, strategies, and performance measures that are in congruence with the established goals of the Department of Aging and the agency's vision serving older adults in Berks County. Item K, adopt a resolution amending Resolution 324-2020, adopted September 17th of 2020, to increase the amount authorized under that resolution to add additional costs in the amount of $1,270.64 for the purchase of 2,000 ballot test decks, to include such purchase within the emergency declaration and ratifying and confirming all. And L, adopt a resolution authorizing Christine M. Sadler, Berks County Solicitor, to execute the waiver of conflict letter for Stevens and Lee to represent the Reading Hospital Tower Health in pending property tax exemption matters. Item 2, a motion authorizing execution of contract agreements and amendments as furnished by the contract coordinator as set forth on the attached listing dated September 29th of 2020. There are a total of 8 contracts. There are two with Children and Youth Services, 1 with the Commissioners, 1 with Facilities and Operations, 1 with Information Systems, 2 with Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities, and 1 with HR. And then finally, item 3, motion to ratify and confirm payments as set forth on the Controller's Office voucher listing. It's dated September the 29th of 2020, and the payment of electronic transfers and employee payroll.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried.
Commissioner Leinbach, I have an item from the floor if you
Yes, go right ahead, Commissioner Barnhart.
We are recommending to add an additional person to our review committee under Educational Institutions and Services, one Lennon Agudo. He's the Director of Small Business Development Center at Widener University. We missed him on our list from Tuesday. So actually, each committee will have between 5 and 6 people on each committee to review.
And this is the CARES
Yep,
program.
the CARES Act program review committees. Sorry about that. So I'll make
is that a motion?
Yes.
I will second that.
The motion has been made and seconded to add Lennon Agudo to the, which one specifically?
He's on educational institutions and services.
For the CARES program. Is there any
program.
discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. With that, we'll turn to our Berks County Treasurer, Dennis Adams, for the Treasurer's Report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
We have an opening balance of $202,114,090.35. A balance to clear of $4,465,866.17, leaving us with a balance of $197,648,234.18.
Thank you very much. We'll turn now to our County Controller, Sandy Graffius, with the Controller's Report.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Total accounts payable, $10,246,397.76. We had a payroll this week of $4,533,153.79 for a grand total of $14,779,551.55.
Thank you very much. We'll turn now to our Chief Administrative Officer, Ron Seaman, for his report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just a brief comment. I'm sure Commissioner Barnhart will have a lot more to say, but with tomorrow being the final day before the retirement of Deborah Oliveri as our election director, I do want to again wish her well in her future endeavors and thank her for the many years of dedicated service as a Director of Election Services. She started with me way back when we did the chief clerk and the elections both as one unit, and then later on headed the department as an individual standalone department. And all I can say at this point in time is her demeanor and her abilities will be missed, but while things are in full gear from an administrative standpoint, I can assure everyone that we have things well under control and we will be conducting a safe, free, and open, honest election.
Thank you very much, Ron. And we'll now turn to Commissioner Barnhart to start us with the Commissioner's reports.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach, and good morning, everyone. I'm going to focus a little bit on the CARES Act program. Thank you to everyone who was involved in the launch of the 4 allocations of CARES Act funding at yesterday's weekly update. Thank you to the news media for doing really superior coverage. Now's the time to apply. It's on countyofberks.com/cares. It's an easy application to fill out. The 4 different areas are municipalities and authorities, nonprofits, public health services, and educational institutions and services. And the FAQ is something you really want to take a look at before you even consider filling out an application. We are updating that quite frequently as we receive additional questions on the CARES Act email string. So things are looking real positive. This launched on Wednesday morning. The deadline to apply is October 16th. And then the review committees will look at the applications the week of the 20th to the 26th to rank them in order of significant need, and those who have quite honestly not received any sort of grants or loans previously respective to COVID-19 related issues. The list, which will not have names, will be presented to the board the week of the 27th. Basically, the recommended allocation of money and the number of each applicants in each subgroup. And then we will approve that on October 29th. And then From that point on, once contract documents are signed and in place and documentation is shared with the county, checks will be issued. The goal is to have this money out the first, second, and third week of November to these respective organizations. And I highlight the fact that this is not being overseen or dictated by the Board of Commissioners. These are 4 well-versed community groups who have come together to help review these applications under the leadership of Pam Schupp and Ron Seaman to make sure it's certainly non-political as these applications are reviewed for this sorely needed money out to our community. And it's our fervent hope that we will see additional funding coming from the state before the end of the year, and certainly there will be additional needs. This is really going to be a reimbursement grant program from the start because of the limited number of dollars the county actually received. We were certainly entitled to more, but we didn't receive what we should have gotten. So it's a reimbursement from March through September. So we're asking applicants to estimate their needs for the last quarter of the year in anticipation of the potential of additional money. Again, let's focus on the FAQs, print off a copy of the application, take a look at it, make sure you have all the documentation to back it up, and then feel free to email the message there, the CARES Act email. We are here to help, not me specifically, but staff here at the county is here to help you through the application process. Again, we want to get this $19 million out on the street, and the obviously the anticipation of receiving more and putting that out as well. Under Co-County Wellness, interesting information, we're up to 1,879 contacts in the database. Our refusal rate was about 310, about 16%. The 1,879 contacts in the database represent 299 new contacts in the past week, or about a 19% increase in contacts. So for those people out there, this isn't going away anytime soon. Last but not least, echoing some of the comments Ron made, Debbie's going to be missed. Her enthusiasm and her attention to detail are hallmarks of Debbie's administration in election services. She has really set her staff up for success. They're great people. I know they're going to miss her. But we, again, in many ways, we sometimes just have to trudge forward. And to Ron's comment, I think we're well represented. We have a lot of great people here stepping forward to give us a hand. We are calling on our departments to help to support us with the registrations we know are going to be increasing. And when the completed mail-in ballots are sent back in, to make this process as smooth as possible. Again, ballots can be delivered to the services center by the voter. Voted ballots can be dropped off at the services center no later than 8 p.m. on election day. Ballots that are mailed must be postmarked by 8 p.m. election day and received in the election services office by 5 p.m. Friday. We are going to have a drop box at the Ag Center on County Welfare Road from 8 to 8 on election day. The drop box at the services center has been received and will be out in the lobby, the main area of the services center, and will be monitored by security and the deputy sheriffs, because the law clearly states 1 ballot per person. You are obligated to just drop off your ballot in a drop box. Again, warning, they can no longer process a voter's request to cancel their ballot. So if you requested a mail-in ballot and changed your mind, it's too late to cancel that ballot. You have to take that ballot to your polling location and complete the elector's declaration to surrender their mail ballot if they want to vote at the polls. So certainly that there is not a chance for somebody to vote twice. As of this morning, 66,000 applications for mail-in absentee ballots. It seems to be slowing a little bit. Last week, I believe it was 63, but again, 66 is a strong number. We actually had 38,000 in the primary that were actual ballots. And the printer is telling Debbie and her staff that the ballots will be mailed out Friday and Monday. They were printed this week. And obviously you can recognize there's 202 polling precincts in the county. So this isn't just like printing a million sheets of paper. It's each precinct has to have a specific ballot to send out to those specific precincts. It's a very tedious and time consuming task. and it certainly has to be done correctly from the get-go. Last but not least, Friends of Epler's one-room schoolhouse fundraiser is sold out. They went through 300 tickets just as quickly as they put them out on the street, so that's great. So I don't have any tickets left. I was hawking notice the prior 2 weeks, and thank you, Commissioner Leinbach and Commissioner Rivera, for purchasing tickets, but they're all gone. So just want to let everyone know if they were looking for tickets, I don't have any more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnhart. We'll move now to Commissioner Rivera.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Leinbach, and good morning to everyone. I have a few points I want to touch on. First, the PHFA rent relief program expired yesterday, September 30th. The legislature may be extending it to October the 31st with some changes to be able to make it more beneficial to both landlords and tenants, but we don't know where that stands as of this morning yet. But as of the end of August, only $4,055,000 was distributed to landlords versus a $150 million that was allocated for the program. So as you can see, it was very, very undersubscribed. There were, I believe it was in the range of 9 to 11% of the renters and landlords that applied received the funding, and it was just because of the amounts and the requirements that it had. So part of the bill that's in the House right now is looking at changing some of those requirements to be able to see if more people are able to use that money, which is what it was put out there for. So as of now, that program did end yesterday, but there are other programs still available. That was not the only program that was available, although that was the only one that a landlord could initiate the process through, although they needed the tenant's help. The other programs that are available are for tenants. The tenant has to initiate the process, but the money does go directly to the landlord. So if you're a landlord and need assistance, or if you're a tenant and need assistance, please feel free to reach out to the Berks Coalition to End Homelessness at 610-372-7222 for information on the other programs that are still available. The next thing I want to touch on is the Berks County New Start program. As I had mentioned, stopped accepting applications as of last week on the 23rd. We received over 500 applications and $12 million in requests. So there's a lot of need out there. I just want to reiterate, as we said before, the fund is being administered by a third party, which is Community First Fund. We just want to make sure that everything is clear and transparent. The commissioners are not looking at the applicants and making decisions on who is getting the money and who is not. That is something that is done by a scoring system, and it is all being handled by Community First Fund. Now, I do also want to reiterate that the Berks County Restart Grant Program is still accepting applications. You can visit the Neighborhood Housing Services of Greater Berks website or rebuildberks.com to be able to apply for that. That program is for businesses with up to $1 million in gross annual revenue, 2 to 8 employees, and businesses outside the city of Reading. So that money is still available. Again, go to rebuildberks.com to be able to access information on that program. Last week, I had the opportunity to visit one of the work sites for Habitat for Humanity, where they have people from the R3 program through Berks Connections and Pretrial Services working there. Very interesting program, very excited about what they're doing to help people with reentry and second chances through the construction field. So they did a great job there. They're continuing to do a great job. They do have a cohort graduating next Friday, so I want to congratulate those who will be graduating. And also wanted to let you know that property is part of the Habitat for Humanity program, and Habitat for Humanity is now accepting first-time home buyer applications. So if you know of anyone who may be interested or qualify for a Habitat for Humanity first-time home buyer home, please visit their website for more information. Last week, or actually it was earlier this week, I had the opportunity to go to a press conference with my colleagues, Commissioner Barnhart and Commissioner Leinbach, at the on Tuesday, announcing the 3 programs, engineering programs that Alvernia University will be offering at the new College Town initiative here, downtown Reading, right on Penn Street. Great initiative. We saw pictures of what the building will look like once it gets construction started, how it will be divided up inside. So I'm very, very excited about what will be happening there on the 400 block of Penn Street. Looking forward to Alvernia bringing their programs there, their students. And it's not only an educational programs there, but they're also going to have incubators where the students can be working with real live businesses, helping the businesses. So it'll be a benefit for the businesses that are receiving the help and for the students as well, because they will be receiving hands-on training by working with the businesses. So really looking forward to what Alvernia University will be bringing to downtown Reading. Also, one last thing, I do want to wish Debbie Oliveri best wishes for her new position and thank her for her many, many years of service here at the county. Thank you, Debbie, and best wishes. Commissioner Leinbach, back to you. You're on mute.
There we go. Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera. I appreciate your comments. I just want to cover 2 areas. I also want to thank Debbie Oliveri for her many years of service to this county. I worked with Debbie before I was a commissioner, involved in various campaigns, and she always was ready and available to answer any questions that we had. She's done the same in her role since I've been here as a county commissioner, and hate to lose her and her years of experience. However, I am very confident in the leadership that we have in place. As we noted when we released a statement about a week or so ago, we are very confident in the staff that we have in place. We're doing everything that needs to be done to make sure that this election is safe, it's secure, and the results are going to be reliable. I want to note that we have had extensive conversations to make sure that we're addressing all of the necessary security issues. We're not going to go into detail on what those are, but we take security of any election very seriously, but especially the one that's coming up. There's a lot of angst, a lot of bad information floating out there regarding the election, and it's our job to make sure that the election is run very well and it is secure. The people's votes will count. Remind everyone, you have 2 ways to vote. You can vote by mail-in ballot. Those mail-in ballots are going out now. They could not go out prior to last Thursday's PA Supreme Court decision, but those are going out now. As soon as you receive your ballot, please immediately fill it out and send it back. There is a drop box at the County Services Center, but you can also vote in person. We've been very clear about this. Voting in person will be safe. We have all of the PPE that we need. We have training that is ongoing with our election personnel, and both are viable options. I too want to congratulate Alvernia University on the launching of its College Town project here in downtown Reading. Very exciting to see what they have planned, but one of the big aspects is they, with College Town, are launching a brand new university level engineering program, and Dr. Rodney Ridley from Alvernia is heading up that program. This is extremely exciting. An engineering degree right here in Berks County is significant, and proof of how significant it is is looking at the partner companies that are going to be involved in this program. And just some of them are Custom Processing, Brentwood Industries. In fact, Peter Rye from Brentwood Industries was one of the speakers, East Penn Manufacturing, Enersys, just to name a few. And that is so important. Much of what people, and it's not just young people, people that go to college or universities learn, much of it's theory. And I don't mean that in a negative context, but this engineering program will help match theory to everyday working reality because of the cooperative program that they've put in place with these local manufacturing companies. Just very exciting to see that, and to see it right here at between 4th and 5th Street on Penn Avenue, the old I-Lead charter school building, prior to that CNA. Just very excited about what that can bring with it. And just yesterday had confirmed that the old Reading Eagle building is under agreement, and more development, mixed use, restaurants, some office space, potentially some entertainment type activities are being planned for that facility. Again, that is more good news right on Penn Avenue. Very glad to see that kind of economic development. That's all I have. At this time, are there any comments from our row officers? Hearing none, we will move to public comment, and I will turn it over to Mary Buer to read the public comments.
Thank you. Susan Hefner, Lower High, Dropbox.
Mary, you're breaking up. We may have lost Mary. I'm going to go ahead and read these. Susan Hefner, Lower Heidelberg, drop boxes for mail-in ballots. I see there has been one added for only election day. Why is it that several counties have added boxes? Montgomery 11, Northampton 3, Lehigh 5, Chester 6 as examples. Why is Berks not adding more? This makes no sense to me as a taxpayer. Crystal Kowalski, why I'm missing. Good morning, commissioners. I have a few questions regarding prison policies in the time of COVID-19. I believe the in-person visitation policy was to be reviewed in September. Did that review occur? What was the decision? Also, through tracking the daily jail admission logs, I see that the jail population as of last Thursday was 762 people. This is up 201 people from the lowest population point of 561, which was achieved in June thanks to the policies put in place to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. Berks County is currently experiencing significantly higher daily cases of COVID than we were in June. What has led those who worked so diligently to reduce the jail population at the start of this pandemic to believe that it is now safe and prudent to incarcerate an additional 201 people? I would like to note that this increase is not made up of solely violent offenders. Thank you. Mavia Ahmed, why missing? Good morning, commissioners. I received a text message from the Voter Purge Project asserting that state records show I have been removed from the PA voter list. I have confirmed my voting status in Berks County. However, I wanted to determine, does the Election Commission communicate by text? Louise Grimm, why am missing? The president declared COVID-19 a hoax, and now the voting by mail is fraudulent in many cases. These statements have been proven false over and over, yet his base believes every word and is ready to stand in line at the polls. Those who believe the experts will mostly choose to vote by mail to protect ourselves and our families while exercising our legal right to vote safely. If the partial results of the vote in person are divulged on November 3rd, once the polls close in favor of the president, he is likely to declare himself the winner, and any forthcoming results, i.e. mail-in ballots, will likely be questioned if not discounted. Every mail-in ballot may be re-scrutinized, prolonging the process of declaring a winner for weeks, putting our community at greater risk for violence and conspiracy theories. As the legal entity in charge of our elections, will you commit to not releasing the results until all votes postmarked by the required date are counted? As counting only in person voting will be inaccurate and may only serve to further divide and inflame your constituents. If a voter uses a provisional ballot, does that vote count equally as a mail-in or in-person vote will? Also, what is being done to secure our election process from attacks from criminal hackers, some with shady ties to the Kremlin and other foreign powers, having already resumed their dirty work by hacking contractors in Texas who were running voting systems, Tyler Technologies? According to the New York Times, over 1,000 such attacks have already occurred in the past year against small towns as well as big cities, and Pennsylvania is a targeted state. Do we have the capability to deter or detect such attacks? More importantly, do we have the paper trail for each vote cast in the event we become targets of victims of such attacks? Thank you for addressing these crucial issues in these unusual times. Adrian Zhadik. Dear Commissioners, drop boxes have been allowed in Pennsylvania. We need to make sure every voter gets a chance to cast their ballot. Chester County already has 13 drop boxes throughout the county. Why can't we extend the same courtesy to Berks voters? Having only one drop box is extremely inconvenient for many voters, and we risk placing too much burden on the Postal Service with the risk of ballots arriving too late. Safe and hassle-free elections are your responsibility. Please allow for drop boxes to be installed in Berks County. Jane Palmer, why I'm missing. First, I'd like to express my thanks to Debbie Oliveri for years of faithful service. Debbie has always been professional and fair, and we will miss her. Given that the elections process is likely to get more complicated, the job of staffers more stressful, my question is, what will you do in the future to ensure that the elections department is adequately staffed, supported, and compensated? Jess Royer, Spring Township. Good morning, Commissioners. Making the Agricultural Center a drop-off location shows the county recognizes the importance of making the voting process more accessible. Thank you for taking the step in the right direction. However, I'm concerned that adding that single location for Election Day will not be enough for voters to return their ballot without going to the County Services Center. I look forward to Berks taking the next step and matching those of our neighboring counties who are far ahead of Berks in terms of ballot return options. In last week's meeting, one response following the comment period seemed to pertain to some of the comments, but did not actually address the substance of the comment. I'm referring to the release of the results of voting, both the polling place results on Election Day and also the mail-in and absentee ballots. I implore the county to view the results of all methods of voting equally, including in-person, mail-in, absentee, and perhaps even provisional if necessary, and refrain from releasing or posting the results of the voting until all the votes have been counted. President Trump has repeatedly prompted his supporters to look for inconsistencies in the election process, most recently on national TV during this week's presidential debate. I'm concerned that hearing two different tallies of votes will be confusing or convoluted to keep track of. Thank you. And I believe that is all of the questions and comments at this time. We will close the comment period, and I will turn to my colleagues to see if either of them would like to make any additional comments.
Just one of the frequently asked questions about when are we going to show the results of the machines and when are we going to show the results of the mail-in ballots. We are making every effort to get as many mail-in ballots counted on election day. Again, following the news and following the court cases, there was some efforts to move it out to 15 days to open the envelopes and then to 3 days, but we are still required by law only to start opening the envelopes on election day at 7 o'clock in the morning. We have asked our employees to help us on election day. Naturally, it's normally a holiday for them. We've received almost 200 employees of Berks County to help us that day to open up ballots, open up envelopes, and scan the ballots in the system. This county is standing tall with respect to trying to get the results as timely as possible. With 66,000 applications out there, it's at least double what it was in the primary, so we're planning for it. I make no promises or no guarantees, but our expectation is as the machinery holds up and we get people really moving along in this process, there shouldn't be a very long delay in getting unofficial results, recognizing we would still have military, overseas, absentees, as well as provisionals coming back from the polling locations. So we will have a fairly accurate count. My expectation is sooner than we did in the primary, and certainly much sooner than many of counties. In particular, everyone likes to heap praise on other counties, what they're doing. Montgomery County in particular in the primary took 17 days to count their ballots. It took us, we were done by lunchtime Thursday on a Tuesday primary. So you want to measure us against other counties. I think we're more than up to the challenge with our election staff and our dedicated county employees who are taking their day off to come in and help the County of Berks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnhart. I will note, and I made this point in my comments, but we do take the security very seriously, and we are doing everything that is necessary to address every aspect of security now, leading up to Election Day, and all the way through certification. Question was asked about hard copies of the ballots. That's why we, if actually the governor required all counties to go to a ballot verified system. And Berks County did that starting last fall, so that when you vote, the machine marks a paper ballot, or if you vote mail-in, you're mailing in and we keep that paper ballot. But when you vote in person, you look at the paper ballot that has been marked by the marking device, and then you put it into an optic scanner, and that ballot drops into a lock box at the bottom of that scanner. And those ballots are preserved. If there's a recount, the physical ballots are recounted. It isn't like the old system, the Danaher system, where basically you reran the cartridges, which the chance of the cartridge saying one thing one time and another time would be extremely unlikely. And there was no paper trail. There is a physical paper trail, and in both cases, the voter, if they're voting mail-in, physically marks that ballot, puts it in the security envelope, puts the security envelope in the return envelope and mails it in, or the person voting in person physically sees the ballot. If it's not right, we've explained this before, they have up to 3 tries to go back and to get it right. They verify that it's right, they put it into the optic scanner, drops into the box, and it's done. It's taken care of. So I really believe this board and our election staff are doing a great job in making sure that the election is fair, it's honest, and it's secure. Any other comments?
Just one thing I want to touch on. It's in reference to the texting. I've been receiving text almost on a daily basis on different things in reference to the elections. One said, if I live at such and such an address, you have not requested your mail-in ballot and so forth. So just be aware, these are not text messages that are sent out by the county. These are messages sent out by different organizations and groups. So just be very, very careful when you receive these text messages. Do not share any information with them. You don't know who's sending the information. And always be sure that the county will not be reaching out, sharing any information with you via text.
Very good point. Anything else for the good of the order?
Commissioner Lineback, I can respond to some of the questions regarding the jail if you would like me to respond to those questions that were asked.
Sure.
Commissioner.
And this is Christine Sadler, our county solicitor, and also solicitor for the prison board.
So I can provide an update. The in-person visitation is continuing as status quo. It's not occurring at the jail, and that was evaluated in September for the month of September, and it's being evaluated again tomorrow for the month of October. The reason why they decided to continue with the current status quo is because of the current positivity rate in the community. Obviously, the jail has, done a very good job in controlling the number of COVID positive cases within the jail facility. But because those individuals are not leaving the jail very often, the most likely way that COVID will be getting into the facility is by individuals from the outside coming into the facility. So obviously visitation, even though it's no contact visitation, is potentially an option to bring it into the facility that it could be transmitted. So they are going to continue with the status quo. I just spoke to the warden. She is continuing to offer the free phone calls that she was offering for the inmates to maintain contact with their family members, as well as offering up free postal packs, which includes stationery and prepaid envelopes so they can maintain contact with their family members. In addition, as we've discussed previously, we have rolled out a new tablet program at the jail that provides inmates, as they deem appropriate and choose to participate, an ability to engage in video calls and conference with their family members through that method. So that's an answer to the question. As to the question of population, right now the population is being closely monitored by the warden in conjunction with adult probation as well as the district attorney's office. Previously, our commitments and our releases were fairly even in that we were getting basically the same number of commitments as releases. Currently, our commitments are increasing by approximately 200 over our releases in a month, and that's due to an increase in the number of arrests that are occurring. That is something the jail is monitoring very closely and is constantly working with adult probation to make sure individuals that can be released are being released as promptly as possible.
Thank you very much for that explanation. Appreciated. Anything else for the good of the order?
Commissioner, I'd be happy to address some of the questions about Tyler Technologies, if you like.
That doesn't affect they're referencing it relative to Tyler's election solution. Tyler is not involved with our election solution at all. We use them they're actually building out a system in the assessment office. I don't know if you want to get into that, but I think if my colleagues are okay, the important thing is Tyler Solutions is not involved in any way, shape, or form in our elections department.
Right. We received indication on Monday, I think it was, that some of the Tyler voting systems were being hacked. Since we have an ES&S system, it's not our system. I don't know how true it is, but that came out Monday.
Yeah, and Justin is aware of that because Justin and I talked about it's had some impact on the build out of the CAMA system for the assessment office. It slowed things down in that area. But again, I cannot emphasize enough, Tyler is not involved in any way, shape, or form in our elections system. We work with ES&S. So is that what you wanted to go over, Justin?
Yeah, that's pretty much correct. They're We are a Tyler customer, but they're not involved in our election processes at all. We're following all their recommendations for, the other products that we have, and we're trying to be very proactive in collaborating with both CCAP at the state level and NACO at the national level with the other CIOs to make sure that we're on top of the emerging situation with Tyler, and we're taking all necessary precautions.
So since you jumped on, stay live on Justin. Justin is our Chief Information Officer, has been with the county for a number of years, and you are constantly dealing with cybersecurity threats to the county. Just if you could take a minute or two to talk about the kind of things that we are doing on an ongoing basis, not just to protect elections, but to protect our systems throughout county government.
Sure. And October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so this is very timely. But cybersecurity is not just a challenge for the county, it's a challenge for every organization. Since COVID-19, there has been, depending on what statistics you read, there's been more than 100% increase in things like ransomware. So there's just many cybersecurity attacks, not only limited to elections, but on virtually all fronts, to all types of organizations, businesses, states, federal government, local government, et cetera. In general, we try to be as proactive as we can with cybersecurity efforts, and we start with securing the humans. Every employee goes through online cybersecurity awareness training that's been reviewed by our outside counsel. It's sent out and
we lost you. Okay. IS that's producing. Did we lose the connection with Justin? I assume we did. Boy, that's appropriate. We're having a discussion on security, and we lost our CIO, but I assure you that is a reality of dealing with virtual meetings. Justin does a great job, and cybersecurity is something that we've invested in for a number of years and are constantly, as commissioners, being made aware of improvements that can be made. And we're doing all that we can to protect all of our systems in the county. With that, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Our meeting stands adjourned.